what's up, America? Donald Trump calling for the execution of Democrat lawmakers. Part 2. So as you know, Democrat senators and congressmen worked together to make a video calling for the United States military to disobey unlawful orders given by Donald Trump. Which, if the military is given illegal orders, they have a duty to disobey those orders. That's correct. That would not be sedition. The problem here is that Democrat lawmakers are including people in the United States military to disobey direct orders without any specific actual orders being given. Basically saying disobeying orders is resist Orange Man bad, and you need to do that. Now, we have free speech in this country, and that's not necessarily sedition. However, if members of the military disobey direct orders without there being a cause, that could be considered insubordination, and you can be brought up on charges for that. So I think Democrats did a couple of things wrong here. One, they jumped the gun. Donald Trump didn't actually issue an illegal order yet. Had he issued an illegal order, this would have been a reason to do that. So far, it's too broad in my opinion. And two, I'm worried that this is going to cause members of the military to act against Donald Trump's orders, even if they're not unlawful, and it might get basically innocent people punished for doing nothing. However, part 2 on this, the calling for execution of lawmakers without any charge or any reason might also be considered a problem for Donald Trump. Because some could argue that Donald Trump calling for the execution of Democrat lawmakers is treason and sedition in its own right. But then there's also the notion of free speech. Did Donald Trump say he was going to do it? Is he directing people to arrest Democrats? I'm not exactly sure yet. So this is where it gets into a gray area. Democrats should have been more specific. If there was an order they didn't want people to follow, they should have put it down and told people, this is what Donald Trump is doing, and this is the order you shouldn't follow. It's too broad, and because of that, it might be considered some type of treasonous act, i.e. trying to get the entire military to rise up against the president. If you see that slippery slope, that's what I see. However, if Donald Trump continues and goes further and actually calls for the arrest and execution of these individuals and tries to get it done, that could be considered treason as well. That would look openly like Donald Trump is trying to remove his competition and replace it so they can get his agenda passed. And so do you see how this can be a problem one way or another? In one instance, it looks like these Democrat lawmakers are trying to get the entire military to rise up against Donald Trump. So do you see how that could be a problem? But Donald Trump calling for the execution of lawmakers could also be considered akin to sedition or treason in and of itself. But then we have the notion of free speech. Everybody's allowed to say what they want, right? Within reason, as long as there's not powerful forces coming to take these individuals' rights or freedoms away. So this is one of those situations where the next move is in Donald Trump's hands only. This can either go away as just a bad Democrat video, one of many, or it can ramp up into total fucking chaos that may even lead into a civil war or an impeachment. At this point, the ball's in Donald Trump's court. But from what I'm hearing with the press secretary and several other sources, it's looking like Trump's probably going to double down on this. And if that's the case, you may see a fight you have never seen before here in the United States, at least not since the Civil War anyway.